What up, my freaks? RuinouSinsight here with part 21 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Belegar Ironhammer campaign. So as we saw last time, Grimly Coralseeker has finally taken out Skaven of Clan Scryer for good, destroying their last remaining army at Tobaro, and keeping now the area around Skaven Blight, or former Skaven Blight, now Khazad-Kavzar, reasonably safe. And though we still have the Warhurt of the Shadowgate potentially to contend with, we'll see about whether they're actually located anywhere near us or not. Because if they're not, it's a pretty good opportunity to destroy their main territory as well, and take all these lovely port and trade good producing cities for ourselves. Chaos corruption aside. There is, however, also the consideration of the pirates of Sartosa, which we may or may not want to deal with, depending on how they fare against both the border princes and Telia, who have been fighting them for quite a while. Honestly, if Telia had died, as in their main settlement had been lost to these guys, I would have loved to take it for ourselves as well as all these territories, but it seems like they're in a little bit of a stalemate, so either way, now we're moving on to what's going on here. So we've taken out the Vamps, and are waiting potentially for another Vamp attack by Uli here, or I believe there was another army somewhere nearby that I can't see anymore. And after that is done, we'll be heading to Ornery Backslider here, who is trying to siege Zufbar right now. Now, Zufbar does have a fairly limited stack, but we've seen these defenses be pretty darn effective before, and I don't think that a bunch of gobos are gonna get through, which is why we're safe to just sit here and recruit more axes for our all-axe, no-shield army, which will be pretty fun. Now, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, or at least what we have remaining, let's see. Alaric, you don't need to move. Constructor for a row, you're good as well. And maybe we did everything. Let's just see here. Constructor Morgrimmel, you are good as well. Alaric, you are holding and going into an ambush, and yeah. And it looks like it's just pick a tech, which is definitely going to be the tool market in order to get those storage vaults. Plus 1,000 defensive supplies is going to be so useful when we can get it. And otherwise, we're ready to move towards Misty Mountain. Are you guys level 18 still? 19 now. They should get to level 20 after taking out Misty Mountain, which will be appropriate, and will give us even more buffs for that army. Can't wait. Alrighty, and also Fimber, do you want to maybe move towards Gradnar here a little bit further? Why not? You guys need to meet up and trade your units anyway. Minus these two, which don't need to be here anymore, and can actually head back, I think, to Karak Draj to reduce the cost of these upgrades. They're going to be pretty severe. So, you out, and you out as well. Alright, we'll keep our Thane here, but these two can head to Draj. Like so. Okay, they're kind of in each other's way. I'm still tempted to delete at the very least you, Runesmith. I'm not entirely sure your construction bonus is all that worth it, considering your cost at 325, but you do join armies occasionally, so while this is still very hectic, we may still need you, so we'll wait on that. And then hopefully we can replace you with a Thane that has the same thing, but actually doesn't cost near as much. In fact, there's one right there. If only we had room for another Thane, I would summon this guy as well for that exact same purpose. I guess we gotta get more Thanes. What increases their capacity? It's this building, right? Yeah, so we need tier 3 mustering halls, which we will be building, just not right now as we don't have the cash. Anyway, Lord not moved, that's Alaric, that's fine, and assigned skill points we'll skip. And unless there's diplomacy to do, which I doubt. Still on the fence about Berkvar and Kazakit-HA and getting their alliances, but yeah. We could peace out with the pirates if we really wanted to, and just go and raid them without them being able to act in reprisal at all. And just redeclare war on them in 10 turns. On the other hand, if we could take Lucchini... Do we want to take Lucchini? We want to take Sartosa, that's what we want to take, but I'm not sure that Grimly is capable of doing it without more stuff in his army, essentially. And he'd have to move back somewhere where he can actually recruit things, which is not anywhere here. I guess he can recruit basic Dwarf Warriors and Quarrelers at Kavzar now. And he could do more Rangers here. But I think we want to get a couple more Dwarf Warriors in this army so that we have something of a melee line. Also, the healing is just awful here. Gotta go back to Kavzar for that. But anyway, we'll hold off on that for now. We have enough new units coming in. Let's end the turn, and let's see what this army does here. Alright, where are you gonna go? If you go to Kradtom, you'll die. You can't beat a Thane and a Lord. Well, it ran away. Oh, okay, it's going back to its other territory. Kazakit, you want a military alliance? Nope, only Confederation, please. Minus 31, we'll wait on that. Alright, anybody else? Can anybody else attack us here? No, it looks like... I was about to say it looks like we're good, but no, oh my. Oh, that's not good. Valiant defeat. Yeah, okay, so we were expecting to fight a single stack, but... Damn. You got me, Gabos. This isn't so great. Well, Zupar might fall, but I guess we gotta give it a try. We still do have the towers on our side. That is a lot of spider riders there as well. If they can't get through the gates, they're gonna have a big problem. Let's see if we can pull this off. Alrighty, here we go. The worthy order here is defend. We've got 5,000 or 4 to 5,000 Gabos arrayed against us, and wow, there's a lot. I didn't even realize this when fighting. Damn. So obviously, most of these enemy units are hidden. The Forest Goblin Spider Riders are in stock, and so are all the regular Forest Goblins until they get to the walls. So when these units were deployed, all I could see was these two towers here, and these two towers here. Thus, we have units deployed pretty much everywhere, though we have a single unit here just so that these towers are all active just in case, and then the same thing over on this side. And the vast majority of our units are over here because the enemy entire reinforcement army is going to come from here. So we have a unit of Longbeards up here, a unit of Dwarf Warriors, a unit of Quarrelers, as well as our Lord and our unit of Grudge Throwers, whereas on the other side we only have the 3, so another unit of Longbeards, a unit of Dwarf Warriors, and another unit of Quarrelers, both of which together make up the core of those armies. Or of those wall-holding subsets of our army. Anyway, obviously we're going to try to target the enemy towers and prevent them from docking. That would be just lovely. We do have quite a few towers attacking them, and the help of our Grudge Thrower as well, plus a little bit of extra damage from the Quarrelers. So we do have a decent shot of bringing down one tower. We'll see whether we can do 2. And there we go, first tower is down, once again ejecting that piece of Gorkorm workspace, as they tend to do. And then we have the second one, already at 92 health, and the unit that was in the tower is pretty much decimated. More enemies are heading towards the wall, however, and we still have the reinforcements to be concerned with. And the same thing is happening on this side, with the first tower having been brought down, and the second one currently under fire. Alright, fortunately we did have 2,000 defensive supplies based on the fact that we start with the base 1,000, plus we got the Purge the Urks, the commandment that gave us another extra 1,000, which is really quite nice, because it did enable us A, to down these towers, but B, to get these other towers. So down here we have a tier 3 cannon tower, and a tier 1 basic piercing tower, whereas up here we have a tier 4 tower, as close to the enemy as possible, and obviously to try to see off the enemy reinforcements, as well as supported by another tier 2 piercing tower. So actually we have tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 all over the place. It looks good to me. And it doesn't look like these Forest Goblin Spider Riders are going for the gate over on that side. And they are not yet here either, but that may change once the reinforcements arrive. Anyway, looks like the Gabos are putting their ladders up, so that's going to be something to deal with. Our tower is still firing down into them, though that shot was kind of lackluster. At the very least, without the towers, Doc, they're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. And at least goblins with 0 vigor climbing and trying to fight Longbeards, let's just say it's not going to go well for them. There we go, just knock them out as soon as they climb up. But they didn't add an animation where units just like kick enemy units off the ladders just as they climb up, or just like axe them or bonk them on the head as soon as they appear over the walls. But anyway, looks like the Longbeards will be able to take these guys out pretty easily. They climb slowly enough and die quickly enough that this, at least, is no problem. I feel like the Longbeards can actually hold pretty much indefinitely like this, at least against single units of Gobos. But unfortunately, there's way more Gobos where that came from. We did send our Thane around this way now, just to try to counteract the enemy Goblin Great Shaman, who may be climbing up here. Our single unit of Dwarf Warriors is also defending against two sets of Gobos climbing up here, together with the Thane and tower support, of course, and we do have more enemies on the way as well. Alright, at least this place is still holding for now, but more and more units are moving in, and that's a massive blob of enemies that we will have to deal with. We definitely have to make sure that our towers continue firing. Over on this side, rather, it's going pretty darn well, however, and the Longbeards holding off 3 units at once, and I really don't see them having any kind of problems with them. Longbeards just being too armored and too melee defensive for the Gobos to do anything about. Plus, there's just not enough enemy infantry units here, and the Forest Goblin Spider Riders don't contribute anything to that fight, so the battle will be decided over on this side, where the massive numbers of goblins are still trying to move forward. Unfortunately, it looks like the AI is still trying to climb up this way, and that's just not going to happen. No, from a distance it looks like these guys are either climbing really slowly, yeah, they're just climbing really slowly. The animation looks very strange from a long ways away. They kind of just jiggle back and forth. Yes, that's the way I chose to phrase that, but yeah, they don't actually seem to move as much like this. I guess the game doesn't want to render the full animation when at a distance, which does make sense. Alrighty, well, more and more Spider Riders are moving around, and finally, they've started to attack the gate, and it's already lost 1/3 of its HP. They're also sending both their Goblin Great Shaman and their Night Goblin Warboss forward, which may be something for our Thane to take care of, if it can, or he can, I guess. Alrighty, more Gobos still climbing up, but still failing to get through the Dwarf Warriors. They're doing just as well as the Longbeards are. At least with Thane help. I mean, not just as well, as some Gobos are actually starting to establish a small beachhead up here, but reasonably well, I should say. As long as the towers keep firing, we will do more damage by the towers than we will with our actual units, so we just gotta keep these things up. Alrighty, our Quarrelers are also starting to run low on ammunition, and the bounce bow remains very much in the enemy's favor, though they have lost about 2,000 of their 5.6 thousand troops. Oh, I thought we were facing about 4,000, okay. 5.6 it is. And it looks like these goblins have actually stopped, interestingly enough. I think they're all just trying to get up this portion of the wall, but they can do absolutely nothing to these Longbeards, who just kill them basically as they come up. And on top of that, they're still fresh. They got 83 kills and have taken basically no damage whatsoever themselves. Yeah, if we had a full garrison of Longbeards, then goblins could basically never take a settlement. I mean, unless perhaps they were led by Scarsling, at least somebody who buffs them up pretty insanely. At the very least, not with the forest goblins. They need a pile of nasty skulkers to actually do enough armor-piercing damage. They're also really still not getting a lot of value out of those Forest Goblin Spider Riders, at least not yet, though the gate is now down to 1/3 of its HP. The enemy lord is now climbing here, and it looks like our Thane is in the perfect position to see him off, just like his warriors have been seeing off these regular Forest Goblins. The big smiles on their faces as they get up here and then try to run off. Alright, well, we'll see if that helps them out, though I do imagine at least a few of them are already routing. Here comes their boss. Where is he? There he is. I lost track of him for a second there. And Thane, it's time for you to do some work, buddy. And we'll see what you can do. 35-30, yeah, his stats are very low, although 60 melee attack with that sneaky stabbing up. Can he get through 81 melee defense? Somehow I doubt it. And it's not like he can defend himself against our dwarf, or our Thane, rather. Anyway. Alrighty, otherwise bounce power is still in the enemy's favor, but starting to creep forward a little bit. We have seen off pretty much all the infantry over on this side of the map as well, so now our towers are just working on the Force Goblin Spider Riders, which are completely useless and can do nothing. One of them is of course attacking the gate, but we have enough units here to take off the walls and simply put them behind the gate and guard that. And we are going to have to do basically the same thing here, as the gate is just about to fall. More goblins will stream into the city then, together with their spider riders, so that's going to be a concern. On the bright side, the enemy lord is done for. Not dead, mind you, but very much broken and exhausted. And we got a new lord to take care of up here as we're about to... there we go, as he's about to climb up. And we do have our reinforcing quarrelers moving in. They basically run out of ammunition, but somebody needed to guard the gate. It couldn't be these guys because they're still guarding the walls up here from the enemy climbers, at least not right now. But we do have some units that are going to start moving in to try to help out. These dwarf warriors with great weapons are clearly not needed on this wall. I was just thinking, since we can't see where the enemy is, there could be piles of enemy units over on that side. Better not chance it. And there we go, here come the Spider Riders, but fortunately blocked off by the quarters just in time as they move in. And this is still pretty good for us in terms of firing lines or lanes, as we do have our tier 4 tower, which should be able to start taking shots down there. Down there. Down there. Would you please fire on cue? Come on, man. Why are you holding out on me? There you go. And let's see where that lands. Very nice, right in the middle of that formation. I don't know whether it killed anything, but I'm sure that it did damage, as it is a tier 4 tower after all. Now we're getting some dwarf warriors to help out. We've actually abandoned the fort wall, mostly because we can't just allow the quarrelers to hold back the Force Goblin Spider Riders. The second enemy lord has been defeated by our Thane as well, who remains unharmed, and these Longbeards will just hold all of the enemy forest goblins back. Quite effectively, mind you. We no longer get any use out of our grudge thrower because it can't fire on anything else, but it did run out of, well, 3/4 of its ammunition, so that's pretty darn good. Now the battle will be decided by the looks of it by whether the enemy can break through this gate here. Though even if they did, where would they go at this point? They just don't have the troops anymore. And the spiders and their riders are dropping like flies. And though there are always more of them, the balance of power is in our favor now. Lovely. Looks like we're holding, at least for now, and we do have reinforcements coming in. These dwarf warriors moving from the other wall as they're no longer needed there, and the dwarf warriors with great weapons having abandoned that 4-tower wall as well. Looks like basically all the spider riders on this side have been destroyed by the towers, and the ones that are working on the gate can get through, but they'd run into a unit of longbeards, which, just like their regular forest goblins, are just not going to be enough. And the longbeards are too strong. We also need to build a tier 3 building so we can actually start recruiting longbeards, though we will have one very shortly in Kazakit-HA. And it looks like the Spider Riders have failed to get through and have finally actually given up, and the entire army will shatter once again, failing to get through one of these garrisons. Just like Karak Eight, although Karak Eight faced off against a single stack, we've got 2 stacks that our garrison managed to defeat here. Very, very nice. If we get proper walls up everywhere as well, all of these places should hold, and those kernstones that will give us, or no wait, it's storage vaults? The plus 1,000 supply tech. It'll just be so valuable. If we can have 2 tier 4 towers, for example, defending a wall, or have multiple walls each with a tier 4 tower, it would be just right. Anyway, we're going to speed this up. We're going to chase them down with our Thane, who does appear to be fast enough to go after the enemy Lord 1 and the enemy Lord 2, and got killed by our dwarf warriors. Look at those ruins of the enemy siege towers as they failed to reach our walls. And there we go, another heroic victory for the defenders of another Karak. Absolutely glorious. Alright, well, there we go. You know, if there's one thing I've learned through playing Belegar and SFO this entire time, I think it's that even the most humble of dwarf garrisons are really not to be underestimated. 17 dwarfs for 4,000 plus goblins. Pretty good trade, though perhaps the Dowie wouldn't consider it. Even one dwarf is not worth 4,000 goblins after all, but nonetheless. We're going to take the execute and loot because this is a garrison and it's useless to get drink to victory, but it is a nice little extra bit of money. Oh, could be a little bit more oath gold, but that's okay. And these guys are going to remain in that territory though, and Lyric Get Gold's ambush got foiled. Well, isn't that a shame? Dwarfen Tattooist for retinue. And speaking of retinue, you, my friend, my retinue friend, are moving right here. And Choirmaster for Kazran, Norgrimling, and Teller of Tales. He doesn't actually need those or really anything right now. More importantly, Belegar. March upon Misty Mountain now. Let's see what we're looking at here. And they do certainly have a garrison. Is this a settlement battle, or is this a... does this add walls? Let's see, Clanmore's headquarters. This does not add walls. And there... Yeah, wait. Yeah, there's no siege equipment. Well, I guess it could be a minor settlement battle without saying that it's a minor settlement battle, but it doesn't look like it, in which case these guys are doomed. I don't want to get Belegar too badly damaged doing this, so we're probably going to fight this in the field. Plus, it is Clanmore's headquarters, so it does seem appropriate as well. We'll definitely have to watch out for that Plague Claw catapult, but otherwise, not super concerning. Halkenhap Grimbrow. Ancestral Blood. Morgrim, still pretty good. We might have to move you back to Karak Asgal just to continue defending it in case Scarby comes a call, and somebody should really be here. And maybe we give you a public order thing as well. Man, these guys are still alive. There's a tiny little, there's a tiny Gobbo Lord out there somewhere without a frickin' building. I assume he's suffering attrition this entire time by himself wherever he is. Curious behavior from the AI there. What do we need to build here? Because we are about to get you constructors out of this place. Spite Peak. Where are you? You're here. I'm just wondering whether Spite Peak is in need of a defensive building, and I feel like it doesn't. It's kind of in the middle of everything. And it's unlikely to get hit. Once we take the Desolation of Nagash and Nagashazar, there's probably nothing that could hit some Peak because they'd have to go past some Pit. Although some Pit doesn't command the road here, so technically they could go around. But, you know, we probably are better off having an actual army there. In that light, I think we're going to do this. You are going to go for the Deep Mine, Sprat Mine. You are going to delete this Trinket Maker, and you're going to replace it with the Deep Mine as well. We don't need the Clan Barracks at Dringo Karaz either. At least not right now, because we can build stuff at Karak Azul, which already has the Siege Workshop, and frankly, we're probably not getting rid of it. Sump Pit, however, will need a defensive garrison, although we actually want to move you into the territory first. Spite Peak is not part of this, so you guys need to go around like so. And, you tell me you can't reach it? Yeah. Alright, well then you can go around to Karak Draj. You'll need to be there for next turn. I guess we can separate you all slightly. Construction cost minus 15% is pretty significant. And Gradnar Copperpot, you do have a stonemason, so you could add a little bit more construction cost reduction, so can you. So let's do this. We're going to put you, my friend, right here. Or actually, no, we'll put you in March Stance. But we'll put you in Karak Azul, not in Sump Pit, assuming that you can actually reach it as well. You can't quite. Alright, fine. Go here. I'm just a little bit worried about catching the plague from this place. Well, that's why we're venerating the ancestors, but it is still, and will remain, a concern. You, on my way. Get ready to swap those units around, please. And this is going to Fimber Ironhammer, which is Belegar's weird cousin. Weird by the sense that he just loves putting the explosion rune on everything, which is why we have so many explosive units in his army. He has his thing. What do we not give him? I mean, I guess he doesn't need Dwarf Warriors, but I'd actually like to replace these guys with, I'd like to replace them with Iron Breakers. We can replace the Miners with Blasting Charges with Iron Breakers. You know what? Don't take the Dwarf Warriors. We'll leave 2 spaces open in this army. There we go.
Can I help you?
But yeah, that's my headcanon lore for Fimber.
Got.
He's the black sheep of the family, just because he loves to use the... he is a runesmith, or rune lord rather, which is a runesmith, and he loves the rune of wrath and ruin, and the explosive rune. He'll just put it on everything. The miners with blasting charges, he just sits there all day, putting runes on blasting charges to make them more effective. Yeah, and he'll be getting these 2 outriders with grenade launchers as well, which we could do right now, but we're moving him north anyway, so we might as well keep Norgrimling here in case this place gets attacked. In the meantime, this now costs 1330, much more respectable. And you, Dwarf Tinkerer Shop, should actually get replaced by another deep mine, but maybe we'll do that after this is done. As in after this army moves north, just in case the place gets attacked. Well, let's get a deep mine here, however. I mean, I guess we could also get growth here. You know, Karak Azul does need growth. Maybe we'll start with the growth and then go deep mines after. And I guess we could go growth here as well. You know what? Yeah, Dringo Karaz, delete this. I don't think the Skaven are a threat. I suppose you, in theory, could... You know what? No, wait. We'll delete this after. I don't like the idea of the Skaven attacking the places. And we'll destroy Clan Wars first. Hopefully Ikit will... Or not Ikit, Queek will pop back up. But if he doesn't, we do want to be wary. Next up, we could send Alaric Get Gold out to get this. He doesn't just get gold, he gets blood as well. What are you doing? Are you close enough to potentially attack Karak Dromar? We only got 3 turns to wait until we have the walls here to protect Bugman's Brewery. And we will bend all of our will to protecting Bugman's Brewery, that's for sure. Keep it as it is for now, I think. Iron Smelter would be great as well, but we may have things better to spend our money on. I wonder if this is auto-resolvable. Really depends. If you attack this guy, you'll draw out the garrison as well. Though the question is, if we put Cazador Dragon Slayer here... Let's try this. You're gonna go here, Mr. Cazador, Mr. Dragon Slayer, whatever you're called. Right there. Then we'll send a Lyric. This guy can't reach him. So we either have to attack without a Lyric. Or we have to attack without Cazador, but drawing out the garrison. Which is a pretty decent garrison. Or without Cazador. It really depends on if this guy moves, but I'm pretty sure he can't.
Let us begin.
I just want to not bother fighting this army because frankly it's weak and it has no chance anyway. Alright, let's give this a try. If we take too much damage, as in if our warriors are going to get destroyed, then we'll fight it in a field battle instead.
Let us begin.
That worked. I did manage to move Cazador in. Alrighty. Now, yeah, a decisive victory low. They have no chance because they just lost to this garrison, and now we have twice as many troops. Auto-resolve, please. Like so. Beautiful. And we get another 1,400 money as a reward, and then hopefully you can immediately move into... Hey, we got another Brewmaster. And another Stonemason. You can immediately move into Zifbar to heal up a little bit. And you can swap troops. Although the question then is... do we do that right now, or do we move back to Oakenhammer just in case it gets attacked? Ideally, we want to take out Grom Peak, like, right now. We may not get a better opportunity. Which might mean we're better off just marching towards it. You know what? Now let's take a risk. Oakenhammer, you got basically no garrison. We just gotta watch out for you getting attacked. Hopefully we can keep an eye on those places. This is why it's good to have a scout. Like, if we had one right here to show us what's in the fog of war, it would be swell. But I guess this time, it's time to hit Clan Wars headquarters. Just want to double check that none of you guys leveled up to 20. No, you did not. Belegar did, but I don't believe he has anything at level 20 that is of concern to us. So let's do this. A close victory. We'll see about that. Poisonwind Globadiers and Deathglow Bombardiers, as long as we kill those with our Rangers before they apply any of their globes, we should be good. Here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Fight for the Clan Moors headquarters. It is fairly sparsely defended, surprisingly. You'd think that it would have just piles upon piles of storm vermin as well as be a walled settlement, but alas, this will not be enough to defeat Belegar's forces. Spoilers, because we could have auto-resolved this, but I didn't want to suffer damage, and this does feel like a loreful battle that we should probably have under Belegar's belt. And there we go, our siege engines, our grudge throwers are starting to take out the enemy catapults here. I did a pretty good job of it, actually, as generally speaking, grudge throwers aren't really meant for this and aren't so great at taking out artillery pieces, but they're doing okay. As long as they force the enemy to rout and have already reduced their number of catapult models by half, we will be pretty set here. Alright, all those shots were misses, unfortunately, but that's fine. Those two weren't. And another catapult goes down, and by the looks of it, they have been abandoned by their crew. The Discouraged, I'm sure, does help. Between Discouraged and Burnt, that's a minus 18 leadership together, which is a very strong debuff, especially when combined with the various debuffs that we have from our Runes of Fear, just generally towards the enemy. And just taking a look at this, for example, let's see. Clan Rats have 60, we got other Clan Rats with 48. Leadership, and we could drop that down to 30 with just a single volley from our two catapults, which would be a pretty significant debuff, and then a few shots and the enemy runs. Certainly quite effective against the Skaven. Anyway, it seems that the loss of their catapults has made them sufficiently angry that they are going to start moving towards us. We will, of course, continue our bombardment, but we'll be specifically targeting two things. A, the Warp Grinders, because we don't want them anywhere near our lines with their annoying Warp Quake and Seismic Snare ability, and B, the Storm Vermin here, because they're the best unit that the enemy has, other than the Death Globes. Yes, the Death Globes will move up, but they're very low in armor, and will simply get ripped apart by our Rangers as soon as they get close enough. Speaking of getting ripped apart by Rangers, the enemy assassin has showed himself. Once again, we've Vanguard deployed our single Thane here. And Vanguard deployed him so that he could find any enemy hidden units, and it looks like the assassin was the target there. He did not have a good day. Got knocked down, but he's going to book it out of there. Fortunately, we have plenty of targets. This is going to be a target-rich environment. And those Clan Rats will be seen off pretty much immediately, but we've got more to kill. Let's see if they can actually reach our lines this time or not. And there we go. Ooh, some of the Rangers are arcing their shots, and others are firing directly in the front, which is quite nice. No ballistics calibration this time, unfortunately, as I did decide to use it through. I decided to use ballistics calibration for our artillery. Belegar is going to move in to try to block off at least some of those units, but so are the other melee as well. So all of the Lords and Heroes and our two single units of melee, namely the Ekron Miners, who are chucking their blasting charges and about to take some hits, and so are our Hammerers moving in on this side as well, together with the with King Lund there. Hammerers versus Clan Rat Spears, I don't think that's going to go so well with said Clan Rats, though the enemy did manage to get a charge in with one of their Plague Monks units against the Rangers here. We're immediately going to pop the Mighty Oathstone as well as Entrenchment to buff up their physical resistance pretty massively, in the hopes that the Plague Monks are just unable to do anything to them. And on top of all that, we're going to pop the Rune of Oath and Steel as well to give them even further melee and armor in a second. There we go. Now these Rangers have 121 armor and 98 melee defense. Even Plague Monks with their damage dealer sort of capabilities are not going to manage that one, and are probably not really going to hurt this unit of Rangers. All the while, of course, the rest of the enemy troops are melting. Belegar's a little bit surrounded. I also want to point out that I don't believe we have the Rune of Spite anymore, at least not in this army. We currently have it in another army, but it's not like we really need it all that much. Looks like on the flanks over there, the Hammerers have seen off the enemy that was fighting them, and the Ekron Miners are doing well and just about in the same position. The Plague Monks are being focused down by the Rangers and are absolutely melting, and oh wow, that one in particular. Check your blasting charges for one rat, and up. That was the last one. He was looking around, wondering where all his plague monk brethren went. And there we go. I do believe, just like that, the rest of the enemy army routed. The death globes and plague globes, poison wind globadiers both melted away to our rangers before they got in range, as we did focus them down. I did expect this to be an easy battle, but it did feel like we should make it a cinematic one just because of the location. Anyway, decisive victory. I don't imagine we got too many, if any, losses, but let's double check. Alright, well, earlier we got 14 or 17 dwarfs for 4,000 goblins, now we got 2 for 2,500 Skaven. Still, too many. Let us occupy the former Clan Moor's headquarters, Misty Mountain. There we are. That should be a significant blow to Clan Moor's, and unless I'm mistaken, yes, we have also sighted our dear friend Thora. Wow. What, is it me, or was that very loud? Huh. It just seemed like he spoke very loud, like he was yelling in my ear. He's whoa, he's going to give us 5k for this? Huh. Wait. What about just non-aggression? He's willing to give us nearly 5k for this. Huh. You're not willing to give us Lamia for this, are you? I mean, he has a full province on the other hand. Or does he? Wait, is this actually owned by him? Wait. Let's figure this out. I wonder how much this is worth to him. Yeah, he does not have the full province, he just has Lamia alone, which is a gemstone place. Then again, if we confederate him later, maybe it's better that he develops this, and then we'll get it later. Hopefully he doesn't get into a fight with the last defenders, though. It would be kind of unfortunate to exterminate Kroq-Gar, but if we have to, we have to, though the Exiles of Khorne are going to be first on the list. Anyway, here's what we'll do. You, my Thoriki friend, are going to go in trade agreement, and we're going to go non-aggression pact. We will wait for military access next turn.
Yes!
I think you'll still be pretty likely to do that for us once you get a little bit more money that you could divert our way. Beautiful. We need all that money for building up the Empire. Retinue, you need to move north. Nah, you can't move anymore. Alright, you will soon need to move north. And Belegar, you only have the Desolation of Nagash left to take out. I'm now wondering if Rotich is going to move down to Spite Peak, which is pretty sparsely defended. And again, he has a pretty ineffective army. And I guess these guys could always march back downward. Nobody better get a plague here. We should also probably delete these dwarf warriors, but we'll keep them for now together with Gradnar. We'll get Gradnar back eventually, I'm sure, as well. But for now, he's not really all that needed. I also just want to double check if there are any new lords that we need to get. No. And just double checking if there's any other ones that will give us additional research, because 230 is not enough. Look how much research we still have to do. Oh man, there's a lot. Okay, well, we'll get through it eventually. Now, Belegar's good, Alaric is good, Constructor Furbrow as well. Grimly, you're going to... Well. If it isn't a pile of undead. Well, that's interesting. We're pretty badly hurt. And these guys have a full HP army with all these man-eaters. Damn, I should have recruited some units. We could recruit the Grumbling Guard and a couple of Slayers in emergency. Though I was thinking that perhaps we could also abandon Tobaro. Not like we really care about it all that much. And just defend Khazad-Kavzar, which they have absolutely no chance of taking. I'll think about it. We do have something of a garrison here. It really depends on if these guys can land in one turn or not. If they cannot, if they have to go here and land next turn, we have time to recruit a couple Dwarf Warriors via Global. Or even a couple Bolt Throwers or Catapults. Grudge Throwers. Though it'll take a little bit of a while. And that's with the recruitment cost reduction as well. Anyway, I think we'll give this some thought, but for now we're basically out of time. So I am going to call the episode here, and this will be something that we'll have to consider next time, as well as the inevitable attack on Grand Peak to take out these Red Eye orcs for good so that we don't have to watch being attacked from this direction. And probably we'll want to confederate Karak Eight. In fact, let's just double check Confederation. Yeah, still all pretty low. The other dwarfs are doing too well for now, although I'm surprised that Karak really doesn't want to confederate. I mean, look at them. They have 2 provinces, and they don't even hold the Silver Road. They really should be willing to confederate. What's our relationship with them at? 159. We want to rise a little bit higher. Still wondering if the defensive alliance with them would actually increase our chances, but usually it decreases. Anyway, as I said, calling it here. Next time we fight the orcs, we fight the dead, and we fight possibly more Skaven, depending on whether Belegar can reach the Desolation of Nagash, and we didn't level up to level 20, so hopefully we'll get that out of the Desolation. So stay tuned for more Dwarfs. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.